Hello, Aries. Welcome to your reading with me, Cindy. So, Aries, I'm doing something kind of different this week. I'm doing a different reading for each zodiac. Well, some of you guys might end up with the same reading, but it's just kind of like what I'm hearing I'm supposed to do. So I'm going to do a reading for you that I haven't done for a while, actually, on my channel, which is the High Priestess reading. So it's kind of interesting. We're going to start with a card from the Witches Oracle deck. And I know people will ask about, because there's a few Witches Oracle decks. So this is the one. This is the one that I use. It's one of my favorites. It's actually very, very witchy. This one is by Marla Brooks and Ayunia Khan. I hope I said that right. So just to get that out of the way. Yeah, we're going to look at like what your superpower is, your strength, what your kryptonite is, like your true weakness. What your nemesis is. And the nemesis is something that, comes up against you quite often that you struggle with, but in the end, it ends up making you stronger. And then what your next assignment is, my dear Aries. So here's the other cool thing. I combined, after I did a collective reading a few days ago, and I used these two decks. And then when I went to pick up the cards and put them away, I accidentally put a couple in the wrong deck. But I realized they are exactly the same size. You can't even tell I have two decks in here. So what I have in this deck that I'm going to start using for you in this reading is the Starseed deck, Oracle deck, and my Goddess deck. Oh yeah, see, I split, and you've got a Starseed here and the back of a Goddess deck. So quite interesting combination of cards. And then I have the Tarot of Positive Clarity is what it's called. And my teeny tiny everyday witch deck off to the side. So we're going to get started. It is a general reading, Aries, and because it's general, it may or may not resonate. But if it does, and you're drawn to it, there will be an extended, and the link to that you can find at the top of the description within this video. Let's get started with the Witches Oracle deck. Now, one of these things I do is I tease you a little bit. I'm going to give you your Witch's Oracle, but I'm not going to read you the incantation until the end of the reading. So this is sort of like a main theme, even. You could look at it this way. What is this for Aries? What a Witch's Oracle card, followed by an ending incantation, do they get today in this reading? The Magic Wand. Wow. At the bottom, you have the Mirror and the Scarab. Visualizing yourself through a rebirth, skeleton key, having the key to your own rebirth, and attain a sword, basically, and then it's reversed. So your truth, your clarity, this is the key to your success. The Magic Wand, Aries. I do know that each wand depends on the wood that you use, like oak. I can't remember the specific purposes that different wood, types of wood have for casting spells, for empowering yourself. But you have the magic wand, so definitely is a symbol of manifestation and performing your magic. And we are in the season of Aries right now. I felt it big time yesterday. Not so bad now. It just came in like a freight train. The season of Aries yesterday, I felt it was very intense. So let's get started with this. This deck is tricky to shuffle because it's kind of big. What's your superpower? Your real strength. Your kryptonite, your real weakness. Your nemesis is what makes you stronger. Your next assignment, path. Pull from the top, I'm hearing. Your true strength is your salvation. Wow, that's a pretty intense. Your true strength is your salvation. Your true strength is finding yourself within yourself again. Your true strength is, I'm actually visualizing the Judgment card. So your new beginning, your true strength is a new beginning. Very cyclical, actually also kind of getting like Scorpio energy in with this as well. Finding yourself, your truth. Perhaps even utilizing a lot of the, one of the typical traits for Aries is being a bit of cheering on the underdog. So I'm kind of getting to like your real strength here is doing that, is perhaps helping to elevate others help them see what their empowerment is, help to empower them. But I feel like also, if you looked at it carefully, you would realize that you can do this for yourself too. Like, you know, putting a bit more of that self-focus onto yourself, allowing yourself to be as empowered as perhaps you may cheer other people on. So what is your true weakness? Reverence, white buffalo calf woman. Whoa, this is interesting because the white buffalo calf woman is quite an interesting energy. The white buffalo calf woman is, I want to say, just like quickly and shortly, a story of your feminine energy being used in the wrong ways, but by other people even. But also you allowing other people to use your feminine energy in ways that kind of actually goes against you. It may make you feel suppressed or degraded, degenerated. And this is so these kind of come together, to be honest. Your true strength is recognizing that your weakness really shouldn't be your weakness. Once you give yourself the permission to rise up into who you really are, into who you'd like to really be, and to live that authentically, then there really is this weakness actually at the end of the day serves as the ingredient list that creates the pedestal to kind of rise you up. So reverence is respecting this inner part of you. So the more feminine aspect of you as well, for those that are coming to the reading that identify as much more masculine, or that navigate through life typically with their masculine energy. This also applies to you. So it's how you nurture yourself and how you nurture others and how you give of yourself and how that is received and how you allow it to be used. I mean, we do need to nurture other people throughout our lives, but perhaps there is a sense of over-nurturing in the past that may have been taken advantage of, I would say, with that. So your weakness is sometimes championing to a point where you need to let go. Both these salvation and reverence are speaking to me in how it applies to yourself and then how it applies to relationships outside of you. So recognizing that when you over champion, you could end up at some point lowering yourself to allow others to feel elevated. It's really interesting how your strength and your weakness develop each other. Okay, so your nemesis. Your weakness is almost a bit of a nemesis here. It's a kryptonite. But I want to say, being a kryptonite, it's like an Achilles heel. It's something that is just, you have to watch this probably throughout most of your lifetime. It's maybe a natural aspect of you to want to help others. I know I'm going to hear it in the comments because I know there'll be people coming in. Oh no, Aries is so selfish. Aries actually, like, well, I want to say any of the signs all have negative and positive traits. So when you come into a reading as a cross watcher and you say, I don't know, my Aries was this, or no, my Pisces was that. That is one person. I mean, I've met some pretty toxic Pisces in my lifetime. And then the most recent Pisces that I met is, I would consider my best friend, and she's the most beautiful person on the planet. So, you know, this gives a lot. And there are, when you're talking about someone who's kind of in their healthy element, and this is what I'm seeing of Aries, wanting people to be, you know, feeling really good about themselves and to move forward, but don't do that to your own detriment. So your nemesis, what will make you stronger here? Oh my gosh, the great serving. Mars energy, anger, conflict, softening to love. Wow. Your nemesis is you. You're your own nemesis. You are your own worst enemy, Aries. But yet you're what makes you stronger. What a poetic reading, really. What a really, truly poetic reading. And serving others. It is your nemesis. That's so hilarious how this all come out. It is your nemesis. And there are times where you may allow it to take advantage of you to the point where you may become angry, you may become conflictive. It is really truly a balance of Mars and Venus almost that serves you in this reading. And then like taking the conflict and softening to love. It's sort of as if you've been in situations or you've been in relationships or circumstances where, and I mean, even just looking at my own life, I can look at like places where I've worked and I've just, you know, really put it out there and realize at some point, well, they're just taking advantage. So but then often what comes in with that feeling of, well, they're just taking advantage at this point is you kind of feel resentment. But really, who should you resent? Because if you're willing to keep giving and giving and giving and giving without creating a boundary and then holding on to that boundary, that's not so easy though, because people sometimes get upset when you hold boundaries. But that's where I'm seeing you kind of like this development here for you. But softening to love. So realizing that when you make the real conscious choices about how you want to give to others, how you want to also give to yourself, but be in control of that. Your nemesis is going to keep coming around. I even said your weakness kind of would. So that's really interesting how it's all tying in. So what's your next assignment? Radical acceptance. Whoa. I feel for some of you, it probably is about drawing some lines in the sand and sticking with them. This does not necessarily mean that you're cutting people out, but you're at least, you're creating boundaries that allow you to give what it is you would like to give of yourself, also to receive from people as well, but not have anything, not you feel like you're being taken advantage of. That's kind of how I would almost sum this up. So radical acceptance. I do feel like too that this is going over to salvation on some level here of you kind of accepting who you are and allowing that to shine through like really authentically and live it in a very authentic way. This is also, if I look at the artwork here, she also looks kind of a combination of like a Dane or a Viking, and just also kind of like very indigenous, where it's interesting actually to say that, because a lot of indigenous cultures as well as pagan and Dane cultures were like the feminine was not blamed for all the problems that the masculine has, which is kind of a bit of a stereotype that we've been living in for a while. Just a lot of that based on stories from the Bible and putting a lot of blame on Eve for, you know, the desires that man has, and then the wars and everything that happens always comes onto the shoulders of the feminine, which is actually projection. So that's not very healthy. So in some ways, I'm trying, like where I'm trying to go with this is it looks like it's a feminine because it's the goddess deck, but yet she's dressed in a more masculine attire. So it's having that balance between your Mars and your Venus here. And for those that are coming to the reading that are more feminine naturally or identify as female, I would say that this is allowing yourself to also utilize your inner Marge Simpson. Utilize your inner Marge Simpson, your Mars energy, in a way that on some level helps to protect and nurture your own feminine, and as well for the masculine energies. Allow that feminine energy within you to come forward, the more creative and nurturing side of yourselves, and recognize that you can still protect this. It doesn't have to be completely held at bay. The bottom, star ancestors, hidden secrets, lost wisdom, look a little deeper. Jump in, Andromedan energy, adventure, say yes to change. Well, that's really interesting. You have, wow, you have like this ancestor energy at the bottom combined with say yes to change, adventure. It's like take who you knew yourself to be and even feel comfortable changing it and morphing into what feels most comfortable. Wow, magical, even magical to yourself. I'm going to add some tarot cards to this. One more for good luck. That's funny. The death card. Did I not say I was getting Scorpio energy with your strength, your superpower? I mean, both Scorpio and Aries utilize the planet of Mars for themselves. So yes, rebirth, judgment, death, endings. Really, it's kind of that feeling of the Chariot too, like taking movement after periods of solitude, of reflection, of inner. I'm hearing inner witnessing. So witnessing yourself internally, being a witness to yourself. And all of that, like your past being, like to describe as the compost for your new growth, the nutrients that are going to help move you forward. This is your strength. Your strength is actually coming through in a very scorpionic way. So you may experience, the people drawn to this video that are resonating with it, you may experience a lot of major endings and new beginnings in your life. But this feels very big in terms of your soul's growth. So perhaps taking large leaps forward in life. If you look back to where you began when you were very, very young, and however old you are now to where you are now, like how much your life has changed and how much you have changed in this process. This is your strength. It's your superpower. Rising up again from the ashes. As I said that, your kryptonite, your weakness is the Empress. It is your own feminine energy of giving, reverence. The white buffalo calf woman. She was seen as very beautiful, very desirable, but very kind and nurturing. But there was a masculine energy that basically wanted to imprison that, take it for themselves, own it, degrade it. So there is a sense too of recognizing the beauty within yourself and what you give to others. If you don't recognize this, it will be taken advantage of. Because when you recognize it, if you can see it in someone else and appreciate it and respect it, you have to be able to do that with yourself as well. You might also, your weakness, let's say, your weakness might be like, well, that's interesting. Because Aries, because your card in the deck is the Emperor. So your natural weakness is like divine counterpart. It is your weakness. It is your weakness. So just be aware of that. When you find someone that feels very counterpart-like to you, I don't know, maybe you feel weak in the knees. Maybe you feel like your head is spinning. That's funny. Like a weakness is the Empress, which is the counterpart to the Emperor. Yeah, I'm really pulling in. Almost like, yeah, your heart's racing. This is cute. Okay, so your Nemesis, the Great Serving, Mars, Aries season even. That's funny, you know, being myself as an Aries too. I always find Aries season to be like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it's up and down, like with my emotions and my energy. It's weird, and I don't experience that in any other season. So being like a Nemesis, maybe that's something like others of you experience as well. And maybe that has something to do with the power of rebirth that's showing up here for superpower. Six of Cups, your Nemesis, which makes you stronger. Soulmate connections. Wow. Soulmate connections can come in so many different ways. People from our past, the lessons that we learned through those relationships and those connections. Your Nemesis might be your own inner child. Because if you can't utilize your inner child in a healthy way, that also you exercise that inner child, that playfulness, that sense of freedom. You are the child, the baby of the zodiac, Aries. So if you can't incorporate your life lessons in a holistic way with your own inner child can end up getting you into trouble. And then you have to work your way out of that again. So right, like that could show up as a nemesis. Mars energy is very impulsive, can be quick to anger, often producing conflict, but also describing Aries as one that can be very quick to anger, but then that's like, and then it can come down again pretty quickly. But not everybody comes down quickly with that, as Aries would. So some people take a while for that to come down. So this does feel like kind of managing your impulsive aspects of yourself. This is your nemesis, but it's making you stronger. Your next assignment, radical acceptance. The Page of Cups. Well, that's interesting. This page always intrigues me because he's been holding on to a rose so long that the petals have started to fall away. Oh. That's acceptance. Page of Cups. The Page of Cups is also kind of noted as the apology. Like, the pages have different, like, the Page of Wands can be direct communication. That even looks like a wand as well. It could be also seen as an Ace of Wands. But the Page of Wands is sort of like some sort of communication. It could be a lot of times verbal, I would say. And the Page of Swords is often, I feel, it can be also about communication, but I feel it's more about like taking in information and understanding it, like starting to understand something that you see or waiting or watching for something to develop. But in the Page of Cups, though, is often sort of like the olive branch. It is a bit of an olive branch. And to have radical acceptance here, your next assignment might be some level of forgiveness. It might be putting out an olive branch. It might be accepting someone's olive branch. And the metaphor of the olive branch is the peace offering. So like a simple peace offering on some level. So you may be going through some sort of a conflict with someone, and some sort of peace offering is it's a good one for Aries. Temperance, the World at the bottom. Wow. It's been a long time coming, and you've been waiting for a cycle to end, perhaps. Death here is your strength, and it's coming in. A huge cycle completion here. Perhaps even completed. There's 3 figures here. There's the Maiden. What is it again? The Maiden? I can't remember the middle one. And the Crone, but what is it? Anyways, there's 3 aspects of femininity here. One is very pious, like a nun. The other is pregnant, and the other one is like young and holding flowers or something. So it does kind of feel like you're closing off more than one cycle here. Like you've closed off multiple cycles, and you could be about to go into a very big, more prominent cycle in your life. Yeah, the World and Death. So the Magic Wand. Let's see what the Magic Wand is for Aries. I didn't bring my glasses up. I can do this. What is this in? This is in, I think this is in alphabetical. Oh, magical candles. Magic Wand. Okay. The incantation is at the end of everything I read here. So remember, this is what came out at the beginning of your reading. Magic Wand. It is said that the oldest and most famous magician's tool is the magic wand. Some consider it to be a symbol of divine wisdom. Others see it as a portable handy version of a broom. Wands and references to wands can be found throughout history and in all cultures. The preferred method for crafting a wand is from a fallen tree branch rather than cutting from a live tree. The wood from which the wand is made determines its purpose. For example, applewood is good for divination, ebony is favored for defensive magic, and while oak is excellent for protection, defense, prosperity, and sacrifice. The meaning of this card. All magic wands found throughout history are said to be able to transmit energy to anything and anywhere. It is a focus point of your energy to channel magic into a specific place for a specific purpose. By receiving this card in a reading, you are given the gift of being able to achieve what has been eluding you for some time, or the ability to make whatever changes in your life that need to be made. Wands are associated with yang energy, very, very Aries, the power to create change. Use your wand to focus your energy and make it happen. It's also there's a lot of masculine connotations in that. Okay, here's the incantation. I'm going to say it once, but I always feel that if you repeat your incantation 3 times, it really empowers it. Magical tool in my hand. The future will be very grand. If you help me wave away the useless ways of yesterday. Change is necessary, change is good. I now embrace it as I should. Oh, there you go. That's your High Priestess reading, Aries. So I'm going to go do the extended. I'm going to see what from your past still pulls on you, what from your future is pushing you forward, how this push and pull affects you, and how you can allow all things to flow freely. Thank you so much, my little fireball babies. Until next time, do be gentle with yourselves. Bye.